welcome back to our channel. So this is a little bit different of a video. It's one I've wanted to make for the past couple of months. So if you are new to our channel or you don't follow me on social media, you might not know that this awesome dog, this funky, weird, probably cattle dog-ish mix in this video, named Charlotte, passed away almost 3 months ago after a very short but very intense battle with cancer. And I just wanted to make a joyful memorial video for her, of her, with video footage that I have. And I feel so blessed to have as much footage as I do have. And it's not as much as I'd want to have, but you know, it was amazing to find and go through. And I've been wanting to do this. You know, she passed away in early mid-October, and this has been something that's been sitting with me that I knew that I wanted to make about her, because she was an absolutely incredible dog who meant the world to me and touched the lives of so many people genuinely around the world through the work that she and I were able to do together, with me writing about our journeys. So I just want to tell you a little bit about Charlotte. So this is Charlotte doing some agility training. Charlotte was an incredible dog. She was also an incredibly challenging dog. A lot of this footage is from New York City. We lived in New York before we moved to Portland, so you'll see this is in Prospect Park in Brooklyn. You'll see sort of different bits of the journey that Charlotte had around the world. This is one of Charlotte's classic favorite tricks. Charlotte was a champion trick dog, and one of her classics was basketball. And she was an amazing dog. She was probably born somewhere around 2009, 2010. We don't know exactly. She loved snow. She was found living on the streets of a town in South Carolina. She was brought to a very overcrowded city shelter with her litter of puppies. She had been living on the street with her puppies, and she managed to keep them alive, and she was pulled by a rescue and transported to New York City, where we found her. And where we brought her home, and where she began to rule our world. These are some of my favorite video clips of her with her little giant sister, Sirius. They really were best friends, and it was so amazing for Charlotte to be able to have this kind of play experience. Charlotte was incredibly dog reactive. She had tremendous panic and anxiety and behavioral issues that we worked very, very, very hard on and with. And one of the amazing things about her, she was phenomenally resilient, and she loved everyone in her orbit, her family of people and dogs and cats, very, very much. And she was absolutely brilliant, and one of the smartest dogs I've ever had the honor of sharing my life with. And when my partner and I adopted her, we knew a lot of the challenges that she had, and the ones we didn't know that the rescue didn't disclose, we found out about pretty darn quickly, and we loved her completely and to pieces. And one of the things we promised her when we first adopted her was that we would give her the biggest world we possibly could. So this was our very tiny yard in Brooklyn that we bought for her. We ended up, after several years, the apartment building that we lived in became much less dog friendly, and it was much less of a good fit for Charlotte. And so we sold our apartment and we bought this house in like outer Brooklyn, so that she could have a yard and so that she could have a little giant sister to play with. And it was amazing, and she flourished. And I love having these video clips of seeing her just being so joyful and getting to feel safe. And that was our big goal with Charlotte, was to do whatever we could to make her happy and to allow her to experience as much of the world as she possibly could. She traveled a lot. She hiked. I don't know if there's that much video in here. She hiked. She climbed mountains in upstate New York. We vacationed almost every summer in Cape Cod and Provincetown, and she loved the beaches there. She loved the beaches in Brooklyn. And then she traveled with us cross country when we needed to move to Portland, so that both we could give knee surgery to Sirius, but also because Charlotte's anxiety about storms, and particularly about the barometric pressure changes connected to storms, which were a almost daily part of summer in New York, became impossible to safely manage for her without her hurting herself, even heavily medicated. This is a really fun little parkour video clip. She did compete a little bit in parkour. Tricks were our main thing, but she just loved everything. Everything was exciting for her, and play and joy. And she was really one of my best friends. This is a great snowstorm in New York. And she also was my collaborator in all of the work that I do. I wouldn't have the career that I have today if it weren't for Charlotte. She brought me back to working with dogs in a very intentional way. This is when we always called her a Wookiee, because she made sort of Wookiee moaning noises, and she got a plush Chewbacca for her birthday one year, and it made Wookiee noises, and it was her absolutely favorite toy of all time. This was in our apartment. There's a cat above her. And she was just always up to do things. And I can't even count the number of magazine articles that I wrote about her for all sorts of national dog magazines. And she touched the lives of people all over the world in ways that I had never expected that she could, or that we could or would, and was able to help dogs, which is kind of this beautiful irony of, for a dog who was very, very challenged around even being in proximity to other dogs that weren't her family. I know. She was able to help support improving understanding and the lives of so many dogs all over the world who had similar traumas and challenges as she did. And I think she understood that in some strange way. And I felt really, and I still feel really honored that I was able to do that work with her, that I was able to transition my own work to being focused on dogs and reorient my life to being dog-centered again. And I'm going to make a My Life in Dogs video very, very soon, and I'll talk more about that. But she changed my whole world, and she made me a significantly better trainer. She made me a better person, and she was so joyful. A lot of the content that I made about her, not all of it, but a lot of it often revolved around the challenges and what we did to mediate and overcome those. And part of what I want to do with this video is really just center her joy. She was the most joyful dog I've ever known. She woke up every single day ready to just experience what was happening, whether that was, us going down the hallway so that I could go to work in my office, whether that was us going on adventures or vacations or travel, and she was just ready for anything. This is some video footage from this past summer. She had a herniated disc in her back, and she dove into rehab. She made everyone fall in love with her. Our rehab vet and the whole team just absolutely loved her, and she was ready, and she was not done fighting, and she fought to get her whole life back. And she had an incredible last summer, doing all the things she loved to do, going to the beach, going to the river, being in the woods, playing in her yard, her big yard here in Portland. And she understood that. There was a deep, soulful understanding about Charlotte that's unlike any dog I've ever known. She's going to push her little shopping cart. Always mixed up the rehab PT work with tricks that she loves. She just loved to train and loved to work. And, she loved playing with her sister, and I'm so glad I have this video footage, and I'm so glad that she was able to enjoy such a fun experience, and so many things, both the time she had with Sirius and all of the adventures that she went on. She approached every day And she never took it for granted. This was, again, in our little Brooklyn yard. And she loved carpet. There's a video clip somewhere in here of her rolling on carpet. We don't think before she came home with us she'd ever seen carpet before. And the first day we brought her home, she just threw herself onto the carpet and started rolling. And she would do that pretty much every day for the rest of her life. Similarly with toys, we don't think she'd ever had toys before, and she loved toys. She loved water. She swam really well, but she also really loved just wading in water. And this was in Brooklyn also, and just with her siblings. She and Mercury used to play quite a bit when she first came home, but he is quite a bit older, and so then she would really look to him for guidance because he is bomb-proof and she was not. And she had a really special relationship with both of her siblings. Her kitten, she adopted a kitten that we saved from the streets and raised him very much mama dog. And so Thing was very much her kitty, and it was just beautiful to see her interacting with all her siblings. And I wish I had more footage than I do, but it was, she did everything, and everything. She never let anything hold her back, and she always was up for playing and adventures. She loved scent work. This is doing some scent work. We saw some agility clips. Any sport that she could do, as long as her other triggers were managed, she wanted to do it. This is some rehab footage from physical therapy, and I've never known a dog who was so eager to do everything, and just so happy. And so I'm really glad I have as much footage as I have, and that I'm able to share it with you. I hope that you've enjoyed getting to see this side of Charlotte. And I think that a lot of people that only knew her through our articles, knew her through some of those successes and challenges. But I'm glad to be able to share this video footage. I'm doing a lot of writing work about her right now. Stories that never made it into magazine articles, more intimate looks at how she changed, and I think the lessons that exist there for all of us with her. And actually meeting with a publisher tomorrow. I have some big hopes about that book, and I have some real confidence that Charlotte and I aren't done helping people and dogs, and specifically helping challenging dogs and dogs that aren't easy, and helping people to see and understand them differently. So I hope to have some news about that sometime soon. But in the meantime, I really wanted to put this footage together because I wanted you to see it. I wanted it to be preserved somewhere, and I miss her so much every single day. But it helps me to know that we really did give Charlotte the biggest world we possibly could. And this was her in physical therapy again this summer. And she loved it. She did everything she could possibly want to do. I don't think there's anything, I thought we would have a lot more time with her. But she loved everything and every moment, and got to do so many things and have such a magical big world. And she is putting Easter eggs into the Easter basket, sort of a spin-off of her basketball trick. She loved this trick as well. And I'm just really glad I could share it with you. I hope that you and your dogs are doing well. I hope you enjoyed getting to see some behind the scenes of Charlotte's life. And I hope that you are having a super magical day with your dogs, and that you cherish every moment with them, and strive to make their worlds as big as possible. Thanks for watching. Good girl.